Well, my. Oleksandr Usyk's resume as a heavyweight is too thin, says Max Kellerman. He says Usyk has become overrated as a heavyweight champion, historically as underrated as a pound for pound guy. But as a heavyweight, the resume, while excellent at the top, is a little thin. He hasn't beaten 10 top heavyweights, something like that. Those are the words of Max Kellerman, and let me counterpunch. You guys know I am very feel. I appreciate the journey that Usyk has been on throughout his career, okay? You know, from cruiserweight to heavyweight, you know, from the speak it, believe it, receive it idea or ideology to actually seeing it take place and manifest and harvest and get seen and done, okay? But based on what Max Kellerman said, the resume is too thin. He hasn't beat 10 top heavyweights. I think that's true. The crazy thing, I think that's a true statement. Why? Because look, Max Kellerman is maybe 48, 49 maybe. He's not too much older than me. He's 52. So he's like, which makes it more interesting and makes it, proves my point even more. Max Kellerman is a guy that's 6 years older than I am, right? And he's been there and seen what heavyweights do, what fighters, champions do. You know what I mean? Especially heavyweights. Since Oleksandr Usyk is at a heavyweight, they fight a certain amount of fighters and they do it all, especially becoming a champion. They do it all at a certain level, which he mentions top 10. Top 10 heavyweights, he's right. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen him fight the top 10 heavyweights. When all the smoke settles from the oohs and the ahs and the wows and the whatevers, and you start looking at the resume, you got Joshua twice, Dubois twice, Fury twice. Those are 6 fights. 6. And, to be fair, though, a lot of those fights, the AJ fight had to happen, contractual. The Fury fight rematch had to happen, contractual. He had to fight them twice, back to back. It wasn't like he could ride off in the sunset because he agreed the rematch upon fighting, the fight at the beginning, with the fighter. So, I get that. But does that change anything? No. I mean, it just makes it more understandable for the fighter, but everyone saying that, hey, he's an all-time great heavyweight. I disagreed with that. And a lot of times people, what do you mean? He's a pound for pound great. Not the greatest heavyweight of all time. Like, people start saying that shit. I'm like, wait a minute, no. Because don't let your emotion give people titles that they haven't earned. And someone like Max Kellerman, if you are a fanboy, the first thing you would do is attack Max Kellerman. You would say, oh man, he hating on Usyk. You know what I mean? He probably got Russian blood or some shit like that, right? And it's like, no. What Max is saying, has he done the standard like the other fighters that we've seen done to be considered one of the greatest? Has he fought 10 top 10? Has he fought 10 top 10 heavyweights? That's what you ask yourself. Has he done that? And the answer is no, he hasn't. He's fought 3 fighters that were champions. You know what I mean? And really, you look at Dubois, it's like, hey, okay, Dubois got the belt from Philip and Philip got the belt through email. You know what I'm saying? And then you got AJ, then you got Tyson. So, you fought 2 legitimate champions. Everyone else, what? You know what I'm saying? You got Dubois, then Chisora, then Witherspoon. You know what I mean? Based on what Max is talking about, because he's seen what it takes for guys to be considered, you know, the great heavyweight and things of that nature, or having a worthy resume instead of that thin one. And it is rather thin because it's 3 guys, Tyson, AJ, and Dubois. 6 fights, 3 guys. You got 7 more motherfuckers to go. So hopefully, though, Usyk can continue until he's 41. He's 38 years of age. So he'll be 39 to 40, 40 to 41. So in 2 years, he has extended to his career. So he could fight 2, 4. He could at least give us 3 to 4 fighters new. That's Caballero, that's Zhang, that's Sanchez, that's it's a lot of fighters out there. Efe Ajagba, Filip Hrgovic. You know, you got a lot of, you could throw Moses in there, but, you know, whatever. There's a lot of fights that he could fight that's new and fresh. That's why people, based on what Max has said, that's why I always encourage any fighter to have fresh fights, to fight a new challenge, not a redo, not a rematch, not a la revancha. We don't need that all the time. We certainly didn't need that shit in the Dubois fight. And hell, you could argue that, man, you beat Dubois' ass, gave him the belt, you know what I mean, then came back and beat his ass and took the belt back. You know what I mean? If you look at it like that, it doesn't really seem that significant. But everyone was like, Macaulay Culkin, you know what I mean? Like people were blown away by the performance. Yeah, it's the way he did it. That was impressive. But didn't he not already beat Danny Dubois? You know what I mean? So you have to look at it the way it is. Now, you know, if you hear anything else from Max Kellerman, say anything, negative or whatever, and I don't think that was negative, but if you hear him say anything else, you know, then you may have a point that he may be hating on Usyk. But at the same time, though, he's telling the truth. Usyk does need to thicken that resume up a bit and fight more fighters. And people, here's the deal, people are comfortable with allowing him, oh, well, he deserves a break. No champion that has every single fucking belt deserves anything. They deserve to be doing what they're supposed to do. You don't become president of the United States and say, I've got here, therefore I don't want to do shit no more. It doesn't work that way. Once you become that person and you've earned that position, you have to work that position, maintain that position. You see what I'm saying? So that's what you got to do. You can't, oh, well, he's done enough, let him slack off. No. Why would you want someone with that type of skill or that type of talent to slack off? We want to see more of them. That's what got him here. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Max Kellerman stating that Oleksandr Usyk's resume is thin. He's overrated as a heavyweight. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunch. Peace.